Bonamo time. We love when Mark is here in the diner with us.
Good morning.
And nobody is following this huge race closer than you. The New Jersey governor race really is tightening and is a surprise bellwether for the country right now. I should mention the two biggest shifts in the country in 24, New York and New Jersey. That's why you got to watch it, man. 10 and 11% they shifted towards Trump.
That's
That
right.
metro area will get you every time.
Yeah.
Right? So we've seen two overlapping but distinct developments in this race. Recently, a cheating scandal was referred to again in terms of Mikie Sherrill. Mikie Sherrill is a Naval Academy graduate, very proud of her record. Her record is featured very prominently in terms of her campaigning, but at the same time, it's come out that she did not walk during her Naval Academy graduation in 1994. Why? At the time, there was a major cheating scandal where over 100 cadets got caught up in a cheating scandal about exam answers being passed out. But Mikie Sherrill herself did not do any of the cheating herself. However, she would not turn in any of her classmates regarding the cheating. Therefore, her punishment was she could not walk in the graduation.
Very strict military.
Very
Coach,
strict military.
Did she serve? That's what matters.
She absolutely served. She went on to serve about 10 years in the Naval Academy, ultimately got the highest civilian award from the Navy last year in 2024. And it's a very tricky situation because obviously in the military academies, honor, the honor code, very important. But at the same time, she's dealing with the people she's going to be serving with in literally life or death situations.
Right. And so I assume there's full panic mode going on right now at Mikie Sherrill's campaign headquarters. This is like the September surprise, right?
Correct.
For them.
It's a September surprise, but at the same time, in terms of these cheating allegations, they've pushed back. In the zeal to get information out about her military record, something that opposition researchers from both parties do all the time, they essentially handed over largely unredacted personnel files from the National Archives to an ally of Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli. And on these records, there was her social security number, her home address, her parents' home address, even information about an NDA where the NDA is essentially signed so that classified information doesn't get out to the public about her military service.
That's illegal, is it not?
The Privacy Act of 1974, this potentially could be illegal.
Wow. Okay. I just want to get back to the argument, the central argument. We're not arguing about her military record. We're arguing about whether or not she walked and the procedures related to it.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay. What do the polls say right now?
The polls are now dead even. This information about what was going on potentially with the cheating scandal came right after a poll is released where it is essentially a dead heat. The race is tied at 43% for Democratic candidate Mikie Sherrill and Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, with 11% still undecided.
You know, while this is taking up headlines right now, it seems that some of the biggest issues in New Jersey for the voters are all economic, between taxes and the high cost of housing and the high cost of energy and a lot of those pocketbook issues.
What Democrat strategist James Carville famously said, it's the economy, stupid. 50% of the New Jersey electorate essentially said this is the issue that affects us more. Also in New Jersey, property taxes are some of the highest in the nation. That's always an issue. Electricity costs have been a great issue. And here there's a partisan divide. When you ask Democrats whose fault this is, it's the Public Utilities Company. When you ask Republicans whose fault it is, it's the policies of Democrat Governor Phil Murphy.
That's right. So what role will independents play in this when you're in a dead heat here?
A huge role. As it says in this poll, there's 11% still undecided. In the state of New Jersey, you have, although there's a considerable Democratic registration advantage over Republicans, there's 2 million unaffiliated voters out there that both candidates really need to get to win this very close election. Again, an election that's being watched across the nation as a bellwether of how Trump is doing and what's going to happen in the midterms to come.
That's right.
I do want to mention this is one poll. This is the Hill Emerson that you're quoting.
Yes.
The Real Clear Politics, what they do is they take an average of all the polls. They have a plus 6.5% advantage for Sherrill. And if you look at, I mentioned them too much, perhaps Kalshi, the betting markets have a 79% chance that she wins this race and the Republican comes up short. So just to give you the whole picture when it comes to polls.
If you're a gambling man, you should take a look at what turnout is going to be like in both the suburbs and the cities, particularly in the cities. because Democrats nationwide have always looked to the cities to give them large pluralities, large turnouts that will lead to them having an advantage, particularly in a very close race. If the cities do not turn out in serious numbers for, in this case, the Democratic candidate, Mikie Sherrill, she could be in trouble.
And Mamdani's the city's kind of candidate. Sherrill is not that. I got to tell you, I think this race is really, really tight.
It's extremely close.
The Democratic Party is far to the left of her right now, are they not?
It's
The energy.
interesting what's happening in terms of, you're talking about the New York metropolitan area being really interesting. You see Mondami in New York, Zoran Mondami, looking like he's on the way to victory, and that's one vision of the Democratic Party. Mikie Sherrill, a more centrist vision.
Yes.
Right? She managed to win in a Democratic primary where there were serious progressive candidates, but now in the general election, it's a whole new dynamic.
One of the things that it could become an issue in the cities also is the fact that New Jersey is a sanctuary state.
Right.
And some of the big cities are feeling the pinch. There's been about 450,000 undocumented that have come in on the buses from Texas and other places that are really making social services difficult for some of these municipalities and schools. And there's been a lot of complaints about that.
True. And, there have been ICE raids in major cities in New Jersey, such as Newark, that made people think locally, okay, what's going to happen now? Are we going to see ICE in the streets all the time? There's a controversy in New Jersey. What is the role of local municipalities in terms of helping ICE? There's a move to try to make sure that local police forces can't help federal authorities too much in their job. But under Jack Ciattarelli, that could very well change. They could say essentially, listen, immigration, this stops here. There will be no more sanctuary cities in New Jersey. So it depends on how you feel about immigration, about how you feel about these two ideas.
It's interesting. Just looking back at the last race, it was actually very close. Phil Murphy won by just about 3 points.
Just 3 points. And, and in 2024, Trump only lost this particularly Democratic state by 6 points.
6 points. Yep.
Keep your eye on this race.
And
Absolutely.
that was and in 2020 it was 16 points. So he did make up some ground. We'll see what happens.
He's making gains.
Be a difficult one for Democrats to explain.
Get your coffee.
If they don't win.
Stay up late and watch the election.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good
Mark.
stuff, man.